Critical Role's newest horror show and tabletop RPG system, Candela Obscura, debuted last night, and oh my god, guys, do I love this show. Hello everyone, welcome back to Fraud on the Telly. Join me today as we discuss episode 1 of Candela Obscura from the brainchild of Taliesin Jaffe, a show which feels like the Twilight Zone, Sherlock, and Call of Cthulhu had a baby. As we said, Candela Obscura is Critical Role's newest show, using their new tabletop roleplay RPG system, partially designed by Critical Role cast member Taliesin Jaffe. Candela Obscura takes place in a fantasy world, similar to our world around the turn of a century, a world really not so much different to ours. The story follows the journey of a group of detectives and investigators that belong to an ancient group known as Candela Obscura, this group dedicated to fighting back against the darkness. You see, the world in Candela Obscura is just one of many worlds, and sometimes things from these outer worlds, well, they seem to bleed over into ours, causing all sorts of unknown phenomena. This gap between our world and the others is known as the flare, oftentimes many types of unknown phenomena seeping into the flare into our world. Enter our cast of characters: August James, or better known as Augie, played by Ashley Johnson. Augie is a 19-year-old street boy who gets up to a bit of trouble. He is listed as the Slink class with the subclass of Criminal. Dr. Howard Margrove, played by Robbie Daymond. The doctor is a professor in philosophy and an older, stern man. He seems almost obsessed in his studying of the unknown. He is listed as the Scholar class with the Professor subclass. Next, Miss Charlotte Eves, played by Anjali. Miss Eves is the owner and proprietor of the Sight Unseen Bar and Club. A fiery and charismatic woman, Charlotte is listed as the Face class with the Magician subclass. Finally, our last character and member of Candela Obscura this circle, Arlo Black, played by Laura Bailey. Arlo is an eccentric upper-class young woman, a character that feels very, well, Laudna inspired. She is listed as the Weird class with the Occultist subclass. As I said earlier, Candela Obscura feels like in many ways a kind of more accessible Call of Cthulhu-esque game, as the game system itself is very much geared towards investigation and roleplay, less so combat or any type of, well, combat-esque system. It very much seems that combat or direct confrontation in the world of Candela Obscura would result in, well, certain death, something that seems to make sense when you are just a normal human combating ancient occultist things of the unknown and such. However, unlike Call of Cthulhu, Candela Obscura offers a much more kind of simpler game system, a much more streamlined game system, using only d6s in the determining of rolls. Like Call of Cthulhu, there is a degree of success in the roll, with 6 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, and characters have the ability to spend a resource known as drive to give yourself more dice to roll. I think one of my favorite things about Candela Obscura as a system is how the system itself promotes roleplay within the game. For example, the game's damage system revolves around marks and scars. You see, you take damage from something, you receive a mark. You take too many marks on your characters, you receive a scar, with the potential of too many scars resulting in death. We go back to our character sheet, where once we receive a scar, we move one of our points for our actions to another, reflecting this change that our character has gone through after such a traumatic experience. Now, I'm just gonna be honest, that's pretty freaking cool. Usually stuff like this, well, in a D&D sense, would all be stuff that was kind of self-imposed. These would all be homebrew-esque systems. These types of things aren't worked in normally to cookie-cutter D&D. Our story follows a newly formed circle of investigators for Candela Obscura. They are investigating the cause of a certain mysterious phenomenon that has been occurring. At the beginning of the game, Ashley's character Augie experiences this phenomena firsthand when she was chatting with an older friend of hers, a man named Donald, in his apartment, when suddenly the furnace erupted, exploding in a frozen blast, both of their spirits being basically forced from their body, almost astral projection. Augie manages to pull his spirit back down within his body, but he awakens from his unconscious state, seeing around him the apartment absolutely destroyed, almost as if the furnace had exploded in a kind of mass of frozen energy, Donald's body nowhere to be seen. Later, our team investigates, discovering that there was some sort of a shadow entity which emerged from this explosion of ice. And whenever this entity attacks a person, their spirit is then ripped from their body causing them to linger on our plane, desperately searching for warmth from the living, as they are in a perpetual state of frozenness. As our investigators dig deeper, tracking these strange phenomena to the foundry where multiple attacks have happened this night, here they manage to find a strange, big black capsule device etched on its strange ruins and markings. Suddenly, though, this shadow creature entity emerges, revealing itself as a kind of humanoid entity wearing this strange ritual armor, which is nothing like anything our investigators have ever seen before, as it begins attacking the defenseless party. Our party barely managed to escape, trapping the creature within the capsule by very astutely covering it with their own blood, as of course, a very occultist-esque thing to do. Once our session concludes, the GM goes over a certain few questions to determine progress and how well the party succeeded in kinds of things. Kind of almost like checking off quests at the end of a video game. So far, I just gotta say, if it isn't obvious already, I love Candela Obscura. As someone who's a massive horror fan and a massive fan of this kind of slow burn RP, I love Call of Cthulhu, I love dark, spooky, investigative RP. I won't lie though, I was a tiny bit disappointed by the lack of spooks in this episode, but overall I can't complain. It was a lot of fun nonetheless, and it was really awesome seeing our cast members flex their different types of acting muscles, most namely Robbie Daymond, who we've only seen from a certain amount of lenses through a certain amount of characters, as well as I really enjoyed Laura's character a lot. As it makes sense, as this is a game that very much kind of enhances and emphasizes roleplay, it's really cool to see these actors and actresses putting their best foot forward. As far as the Candela system itself goes, I'm super excited to try it. These new, really accessible, kind of streamlined systems are really becoming the new norm in the tabletop RPG world. Long gone, it seems, are the days of complicated different dices and complicated different battle systems. People want to be able to sit down, make a character, learn the game, and get playing all within like 30 minutes. And it does seem like Candela Obscura does a good job kind of filling the bill of this. Of course, this game, this show, and this system is probably not for everyone, especially if you're more of a fan of combat and kind of like raw action, or you are someone who plays your TTRPG games kind of more as like an MMO, less in the pure role-playing sense, which is perfectly fine, by the way. Everyone plays role-playing games differently. I will say, from everything I've seen so far, Candela Obscura very much seems to be, for me, one of the things that I really love is how the game mechanics and your character sheet kind of promote roleplay, whether it's the SCAR system, which we talked about earlier in the video, or even just like some more simple things, like the simple things at the top of your character sheet. For example, like the catalyst or the question bars. The catalyst being why your character decided to join Candela Obscura, and the question being kind of like, what is the question of their future endeavors? What drives you in your search to snuff out this darkness that tries to permeate our world. Overall, episode 1 of this show was awesome. It's really great to see Robbie on Critical Role, especially in this kind of more spooky, different kind of environment with all these kind of Cthulhu-esque vibes. And I'm personally really excited to give Candela a try. Maybe now I can finally convince some of my D&D friends to join me in a spooky world filled with mysteries. As always, though, these are just my thoughts and opinions, and feel free to let me know yours in the comments down below. What did you like about Candela? What did you not like? What are you excited about? Yeah, please let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video or you learned something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, as it really does help the channel out and helps me grow. Click on screen now if you want to see more other Critical Role content like this. And as always, guys, stay safe out there, friends. I hope to see you in the next video. As always, peace, love, adu.
It was like 05, got my license to drive. Picked you up in my pop's car, went for a ride. Couldn't no one tell us nothing. That night was ours.